We have a 19250, and it looks like we have a reoccurring, not from me, P0401. Anybody having Illumi-Duty issues with a reoccurring P0401, we need to talk. Let's do it. Alright guys, thanks for coming back and checking us out. Like I said, this is a 2019 with, I can't see, she's got 65 on it. And they're complaining that the check engine light is on, which we are going to verify. 3, 2, 1. No light, but that's must because the customer has cleared it. RO states check engine light is on, showing code P0401, but the customer has been clearing the code. Well, I did a little background investigation, and because this is under warranty, we are able to see all of warranty repairs and the work that was done. If it was cash, we cannot see, but if it's warranty, any Ford dealer can look up warranty history. This particular truck has been to a local dealer, not close to me, but to this area, and has already had an EGR cooler core replaced on this? Nah, not on these. That doesn't make any sense. I've never had to replace EGR cooler cores on Illumi-Duties. If you had an 11 through 16, I'd say all day long. So we are gonna have to have a little talk. Sucks that the code is cleared. I don't have any freeze frame data to go on, but as soon as I get IDS hooked up here momentarily, we are going to see if there's anything pending. All right, IDS in. We have self-tests commencing. Self-tests. Here we go. All right, self-test done. What's it say? P0401. Wow. What do we have going on? Do we have an EGR valve problem? Do we have a cooler core problem? Do we have a mass airflow sensor problem? Do we have a turbo problem? Do we have a calibration problem? What is in this spinning wheel of repairs are you gonna pick? We need to figure this out because I know a lot of you guys are having a 401 through the 11 through 16s, no big deal. 17 through 19, we need to think. All right, we have the hood popped and going through. I've already went and looked at the air filter, popped this off. I noticed somebody didn't have this latched, but the air filter was clean, but it was an aftermarket candidate. One of the things that the ECU, the PCM, uses as an input to determine EGR flow out of this valve to see if we have difference in airflow is this guy right here. This is the mass airflow sensor. A lot of times I have seen on gasoline vehicles that the mass airflow sensor will become contaminated and will skew the air flow readings coming into the engine. Well, this is a big thing on gasoline. Mass airflow on a diesel isn't used for fuel control, it is used for EGR, and the information that it uses for the air going into the engine will be an input into the PCM and to whether or not this needs to open up between 0 and 100%. So there are a lot of other things that it looks up as well, but mass airflow sensor being one of the main things. All right, back to the 401. Let's go ahead and, where is she at? Let's clear it. Where'd our little VCM icon go? Hey, there it is right there. Okay, clearing codes. There's a TSB to reprogram the PCM for this code, but being that it was already at another servicing dealer, I am going to assume that the PCM is at its latest calibration, because one of the things that we have to do is when these come in, if they have any open campaigns or recalls, i.e. PCM reprograms or vehicle module reprograms, we have to do them. So That should have been taken place at that said dealer, so we are going to see if there is a later calibration available. It said the PCM, everything's at the latest calibration except for the PM sensor and the GPCM. I'm not going to leave it not updated, so I'm going to update it right now. Alright, finally everything has been updated, and the lovely Ford team has this website that you can buy access to look at the same info that I'm looking at here, and to access this pinpoint test W. This is going to carry us through the flow chart for how the EGR is supposed to function. So this is pretty much a series of questions and wants us to answer the question: are any concerns present after we check the vehicle for performance modifications or airflow concerns? Well, we've already done that and no concerns are present. W2, it wants us to check for an intermittent concern. Now, I was using Google Chrome and now I'm using Microsoft Internet Explorer. You can see it looks a little bit different. This is what I'm used to, and I want to show you the interactive way that we can look at this instead of taking the readings like it had said. So we're going to go ahead and hit continue. It's going to tell us what we're going to intend to test. All right, first question, same as before, just it looks a little different. We're going to go to W2, check for an intermittent concern. We're going to watch the EGR VP, the valve position, and we're going to wiggle and observe. Well, of course, the interactive part doesn't want to work. Our little red VCM is not up. We have the little VCM icon pulled up and it's locked in. Right now is the voltage between 0.49 and 1.25. And the answer to that is yes. So we're going to go to W3. Where's my cursor? Right here. Next question. Now it's going to want to measure the voltage between VREF and signal returns. Right now our EGR valve is working. I don't have an issue with any of the VREF circuits or the signal returns. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer yes. Check the EGR valve harness for an open. Again, we do not have any on-demand DTCs. You guys remember me talking about on-demand DTCs, how we have two of them, continuous memory and on-demand. On-demand is an electrical problem happening right now. Checking for an open, we'd have an open circuit code for this DTC or for this circuit. So I'm going to have to answer that yes, all of them are fine. We're at under 5 ohms. W5, check the EGR valve harness for a short to ground. Again, I'm going to have to answer yes, they're not shorted. Check the EGR valve harness for a short to voltage. Is any voltage present? Going to go ahead and hit no. Check the EGR valve CH. What the hell does that mean? That's a new acronym. Control high and control low circuit short together. Again, we would have some very erratic EGR valve operation. I'm going to have to say that they're not connected, which we don't want them to be connected. So here we go. Check the internal resistance of the EGR control motor. This actually wants me to physically remove the connector and check the pins at the EGR valve, and is it between 1 and 900 ohms. If you answer yes, then you continue forward. If you answer no, it's going to want you to put an EGR valve in. So two things. I have very rarely, and I'm talking this is going to be my first one just coming up here on this another vehicle, I rarely replace EGR valves on the pickups with the aluminum valves. Now the cast iron trucks, the cab chassis, I have replaced multiple EGR valves. I'm not saying that this is not within the limits, but I am going to say this is. For DTCs 401 and P0457, go to pinpoint test AZ. And this is going to have us check the EGR cooler itself. It's going to want us to check for flow. Yes, we have that code. Carry out a visual inspection. Is anything present? No. Check the cooling system. Cooling system was full. AZ10. Do we have a problem with the bypass valve? They want to know, is this fully retracted or is it let go? Right now we have the key on and this is being energized. So we got this little vacuum solenoid that would still have vacuum on here. If I were to pull this vacuum line off, we should see that go down right here. This is actually got vacuum on it. So is there a problem with that? Doesn't look like it. Could there be a problem in here? Absolutely. Do I have problems in there? Very rarely. Let's continue forward with the pinpoint test and see what else we have to do. This asks if it was fully retracted and extended. Yes. Well, we can't have an issue with the bypass valve solenoid if that linkage was moving, so we don't have an issue. Check flow through the cooler. Okay, this is where I want to stop. This vehicle has already had the EGR cooler guts already replaced. First off, I never have an issue with the guts on these things anyway, because this cooler core has these size holes. The 11 through 16 has these size holes. Way bigger difference. Those stop up, these do not. I don't know why that guy replaced the cooler core, but I feel that there is another issue going on. Alright, here's something that's really interesting I think you guys would appreciate. So this is interactive through the pinpoint test. It's finally started working, and this is a really cool way to be able to test the vehicle without having to go back and forth through the publications and your scan tool. So right now we are going to go down to the PIDs that we are going to control. It wants us to put our VGT at 60, our RPM at 1500, and our EGR valve position desired is going to be at approximately 53. I'll put it at 50. Let me increment that down. Wow, right click. So we'll just go to 50. So I am going to turn all these on. Okay, VGT at 60. Here goes our RPM. Let me put my EGR. So everything is being met. Now the question it asks us, it wants us to know, does our math grams per second change along with EGR temperature? Okay, so right now we're at 115. It wants us to turn on this EGR bypass control solenoid, so our bypass, that valve, that rod you saw on the EGR cooler, we're going to open that up and we're going to flow EGR into the engine. Now remember what I said about the math. Our math should be indicating flow going, it should be indicating that we have flow. So we are going to turn on this. See our math? We didn't go up that high. We were at 115. Now we're at 155. It's slowly creeping up. Let's look back down at our math. Anything changed? Still at 85. All right, we definitely have a problem going on right now. Whether or not it's the door to let EGR flow in. If we don't have the door opening, then how are we going to change temperature, right? This should be like 300 degrees. Pretty weird. EGR TC, that should be increasing and decreasing at a way more rapid rate than it is. I wonder what we have going on. Could we have a valve problem? Could we have that bypass not functioning correctly? 55 degrees, that only went down about 40. Let me turn that back on. We're at 141 right now. Let's turn this back on. $20 degrees, 30 degrees, 40 degrees. All right, we're getting up. All right, 50 degrees. The PCM does not like something. I like the fact that our temperature is changing, but what is really weird is our mass airflow sensor readings are staying the same. They're not reading at all. Is this indicating to the ECU the correct flow, and that is why we're getting EGR low flow, because that maybe our math when we are at that engine speed is not indicating at least 14 grams difference to indicate EGR flow? Alright, so after seeing that mass airflow reading not change, this is what I have discovered. And these ports behind the throttle body, look at this shit just cake off. I'm gonna vacuum all this out with my little pencil vacuum here. But these ports, I have one here, and one here. It's like a delta. There's three of them. 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. So right now I'm going to clean this out, and we're going to put IDS back in and go to that active measurement test, and we're going to revisit and see what our airflow readings are now with these cleaned out. Alright, right now after cleaning those EGR ports, here is our temps. Okay, and I have everything preset. What we're going to do is just turn everything on, and right now we're at 21 grams. So let me go ahead and turn everything on. There goes our turbo. Here goes our RPM. Let me do my EGR. Okay, right now we're already at significantly lower, about 30 grams lower on the mass airflow sensor reading. You guys remember just a little bit ago here we were at 82.3, 84, and didn't really change. So I am going to, this is already on, let me command it off and see if this changes, and our temp should be going from 314 significantly down into the 100. So let me go and command this off. Okay, here goes our temp down. Temp is going way down. It was not doing that last time whatsoever. And our MAF reading is staying at 53. So the question, does the MAF PID increase by less than 14 grams? And I would answer yes. But this right here, it was so slow to build. Let's see the reaction and how fast it goes up now. I mean, it should be immediately once it starts flowing. Look how fast that goes up compared to the other way. Let's watch the other one on how it increased right now. See how slow that's going up? Alright, let's turn this one back off, and we'll see how fast this goes down. Make sure to always check for intake restrictions, as the other dealer did not, and wound up replacing the EGR cooler core for a restriction when the restriction was behind the throttle body. Let me know in the comments if you guys have ever had this problem with yours, a recurring P0401, and if you've been successful with cleaning the ports behind the throttle body. Let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, sub, share, and I'll catch you guys all next time. See you.